What's up YouTube, Ronnix from Ronnix Photography, and today we are going to do a tutorial about how to brighten and how to whiten eyes in Photoshop. So for this specific tutorial I'm going to be using two methods, and you'll have to choose which works best for you guys. So first of all, this is my image, and if you'd like to learn more about retouching, I'll put up a couple of videos about my frequency separation and color grading, so you can retouch your photos, and yeah, you can watch and retouch your photos the way I do. So right now this photo is retouched and color graded. So this is the before. Let me show you guys the before and the after. Before, after. So this is our portrait. So what we're going to do, we are going to whiten or brighten the eyes of this model. So what we are going to do, I'm going to first create a stamp visible layer on top of our group by clicking Shift Ctrl Alt E on the keyboard. So we shall create this layer on top. So first of all, I come to my adjustment layers, and I'm going to use curves first of all to brighten the eyes. I want them to pop a little bit, so I'm going to pull this up a little bit. And even if I overdo this, it is for the sake of the tutorial. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel, simple reminder, kindly hit the subscribe button and don't forget to hit the notifications bell so that you keep updated with new videos we do upload on this channel. So after selecting your curves and brightening it up a little bit as I have done, make sure this is selected, then click Ctrl I on the keyboard to invert this layer. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm just going to come right here. If you don't have this, make sure you just click here to toggle between the black and the white, or you can use X on your keyboard. So make sure white is on top. Make sure this is selected, this black layer. So you're going to paint using white on black, as you can see here. So I select my brush tool. I'm going to increase the flow to around 35% and the opacity is at 100%. So I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to start painting on the white area. Make sure you don't cross over to this red area of the eye. So I'm going to start painting over. You may not see the results as yet, but you'll see the results later on. So what I'm doing right now, I'm just brightening them up a little bit. So the next step is going to be whitening the eyes of the model. So I can do something little here. So as you can see, before, after, before, after. So right now I was kind of brightening the eyes, just painting over this white area. And yeah, if I told you you love the results, then this is really good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to group this, Ctrl G. As you can see, this is for the eyes. So if at all you're not satisfied with the results, just click on the group 5. Let me rename this eyes. Let's name it eyes. So just get it and drag it here to duplicate it, so you can see it has added some more effect. But for this tutorial I'm going to delete this, so remain with only one group for the eyes. So after this, I'm going to come to my photo filter. You can see photo filter, and yeah, this is also nice for color grading your portraits. But for the eyes, you're going to select Cooling Filter 82. You can see the effect it is giving us already. So I'm going to make sure this is selected, click Ctrl I on the keyboard. Make sure white is your foreground color, as you can see here, and select your brush. And for this case I'm going to use a bigger flow. I'm going to use 78 because I want to show you guys how it is and the effect is going to do to this specific portrait. So I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to start painting over the white area of, you can see what it's doing. So we want really natural results for this specific photo. That's why we have to leave in those natural. I'm using some reddish stuff in the eyes, so we have to leave them in the eyes. We don't want to make her look like she's some kind of robot. So that's what we're doing right now. So you can see, let me show you guys the before and the after. Before, after, before, after. So as you can see, we have too much red right around here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come back to my photo filter because I want to remove this and whiten it a little bit. So I'm going to come back to my calling 82. Select, make sure this is selected, Ctrl I on the keyboard. I close this. Select your brush, make sure white is on the foreground, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So since I'm only aiming at removing the reddish effect right here, I'm going to paint over. Let me increase my flow this time to around 100. So I'm only going to paint around this area. So you can just come back and paint over that area that doesn't look really perfect to you. So if at all I have overdone this, there is only one solution. Just come right here and reduce the opacity to what you really love or like. So this is the first way of how to whiten the eyes in Photoshop. So right now we are going to do, let me put this in a group so you can see the before, after, before, after. So for the second method, we are going to be using our camera raw filter. So, and we are going to be using the adjustment brush to brighten the eyes in Photoshop. So I'm going to create a layer on top of all this. Shift Ctrl Alt E. So I think I have to delete this group. So you guys have learned the first way. So I'm going to create another layer right here. You can see Shift Alt Ctrl E on the keyboard. So I'm going to come right to my filter, camera raw filter. So this time I'm going to be using my adjustment brush. It is right here, 1 2 3. It is just right here, or you can click K on the keyboard. So usually when I'm going to use my adjustment brush, I prefer, let me put all this to default. A minute please. So I want to show you guys how I do this. So let me see my temperature. Okay, let me just put my temperature right here in the middle so that I can show you guys how I do everything. So this is like our default for our adjustment brush. So what I'm going to do, I start by pulling my temperatures all the way down to -42 because I want to add some bluish effect since we have too much of the yellow in the eyes, so you can see. So I'm going to pull my tint to around 50s. So I'll leave my exposure alone, contrast alone. So I'll pump up my highlights by 8 and my whites, I'll skip my shadows. So I'm just going to come right down here below, and since we have some color in the eye area, I'm going to desaturate, but I won't desaturate all the way. I'll put it to -62. So this is, now we are now set to start whitening and brightening the eyes. So because when I'm brightening, I prefer to pull up my highlights and my whites to brighten, and whitening I prefer to pull up my tint to +50 and my temperature to around 42 or 46, sorry about that. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit so that I really be accurate while I'm painting over. So I'm going to start painting over the eye area. You can see the difference, and when you're painting, just make sure you're really careful while doing this, because you don't want to paint over some of the areas you wouldn't have painted, and we really need something perfect at the end of the day. So make sure you don't overdo it, and in case I am overdoing this, I want you guys to see the results of this. So you can see the eyes of the model are really popping, and they are kind of whitish, and if at all they look blue to you, just come back to the temperature and pump it up a little bit. So click OK on the keyboard. So this is the before and the after. Before, after. So guys, this is an easy of how to whiten and brighten the eyes in Photoshop. First of all, we used the curves adjustment layer to pump up and make them pop. Then we went to our photo filter and we used cooling 82. We masked and painted over the eye area. Then the second method was using camera raw, and we used the adjustment brush. So guys, if you have learned something from this specific tutorial, remember to subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to hit the like button on this video and drop your comment down below in the comment section. I'm Ronnix from Ronnix Photography. Thank you for watching. Till next time.